Hi, this is John Paul Mason from breathingjourneys.com. I'm just going to talk a bit about what can arise during a breathwork session and how to work with that. And this is really the sort of art of acceptance and being okay with your experience, or to put it more eloquently, the art of integration. So we get a lot of different experiences can come up when you're breathing. So it might be that you experience some aches and pains in your body, or some tingling. Commonly feel it in the hands or the feet. Or you could get hot or cold. You could get emotional. You could be feeling distracted mentally. Or perhaps you're feeling really bored, or you could be zoning out and going off into a kind of dream state repeatedly. That's quite common. So, what do we do with these different experiences that come up? And really, what we're doing in breathwork is to try and, experience whatever is happening as fully as possible, to be really fully present to what is going on. Because what we're working with really a lot of the time is what has been suppressed and really held in the body somewhere. And the reason it was suppressed was because we didn't want to really feel it in the first place. So we decided an experience was bad and didn't really allow ourselves to encounter it and pushed it away. And energy is being used now to hold that experience somewhere in our kind of body-mind. So when these experiences arise, we're really giving them the benefit of our attention, in order that they can be fully absorbed and the energy kind of absorbed into our system, rather than being tucked away in one part of our body. So just say, for example, you are breathing and you get a little physical pain in your hip somewhere. So what to do is, rather than try and make the pain go away, is to really just explore it. Here you have an opportunity to really notice what is happening. And we don't often have that opportunity in our day-to-day life because we're so busy. But something has come up because it wants our attention. So we get a little pain. So bring your awareness to that and use your breath as a way of exploring it. So we can, as we say, breathe into it. So when you breathe in, really feel what is happening. What does that actually feel like in my body? What does that pain feel like? So we call it pain, or we call it an itch, or a whatever. But so go beyond the words and say, well, what does that actually feel like? Is it hot or cold or tingling or throbbing? Really try and explore it and see what happens. So, when we feel something, that's really, a form of acceptance. We're allowing ourselves to feel what is happening. So we've got this pain and we start exploring it. And it may either, increase, stay the same, or decrease, or maybe move around the body, simply because we give it our attention. But we really want to just try and experience what is happening without having any idea of, what we want to happen to it, which can be tricky, because if something's really sore, a lot of the time we're thinking, well, I really want this pain just to go away. I don't want to feel this. I want to get rid of it and somehow. But it's really not about getting rid of things. It's really about feeling things. So, another example, people commonly experience cold, a temperature change. So like cold hands or cold feet or cold body. So we're not trying to make ourselves warm or get rid of it, although make yourself as comfortable as you want during the session. But just allow it to happen. Say, okay, I'll let my body be as cold as it needs to be. Just let that expand, let that feeling expand, because this is just the body trying to express something. The body's language is through sensation. So this conversation we can have with what is happening in our body is just to feel it, just to be attentive to it, to give it our attention and bring our awareness to it. So it's like, oh, I'm cold. Well, let's really try and feel it and allow that feeling to just develop in its own way. And it might be even colder, or it might be that it moves through you and you start warming up. We don't really know. But all you need to do is give it your attention. And the same with, emotions. So we might feel an emotion coming up. We might feel something in our throat, for example, a tightness, and then we realise we're sad, or we feel it in our heart. And again, just to use the breath to keep breathing and keep feeling what is happening. We're not feeling with any outcome. It's not like, well, I really want to process this and allow it expression. No, just actually, can you be really curious about it? Because you don't know what its agenda is. You don't know what the agenda of what you're feeling is. The body is just simply presenting something to be felt, or something emotional to be felt. So just as much as we can, we allow ourselves to experience what is happening. And every time you breathe in, just imagine yourself moving towards that experience, or amplifying it in some way, or allowing it to expand. And this could be a good feeling as well. So for example, we realize we're feeling really relaxed. This is again a common experience. I'm starting to feel more relaxed. Well, every time you breathe in, just allow yourself to breathe in more of that relaxation. And every time you breathe out, just allow yourself to settle into it. So breathing is like amplifying our experience. And then you breathe out, just allow yourself to really settle into what you're feeling, to really kind of surrender to it. If it's pain or a good feeling or laughter, just to really allow yourself to experience whatever's going on. So this is really the general approach. Now, it may be difficult to be okay with something, to accept it. So really what we're looking for is, what are you okay with? So imagine, for example, okay, you feel intense pain in your knee. And you can say, well, can I accept this? Can I just breathe in this? No, actually the reality and the truth here is, I do not want this pain. I do not want it. And that is the truth. That is where you are. And that's what you breathe with. You breathe with that, I don't want this. What does I don't want that feel like in your body? Breathe from where you actually are. So it's finding a place where you are being truthful about what you feel. Or someone, say there's a noise outside, you're lying having a nice peaceful breathe, and some workmen start outside the window. So they could be clattering and banging. You could lie there in total acceptance and, work with your response to whatever is going on. Or you could be thinking, I'm really annoyed here. I really don't want this to be happening. So then breathe with your annoyance. Breathe with the I don't want to be happening. What's the truth for me here now? This is really the essence of integrating something, finding a place where you're being real about what your experience is. So I am annoyed here, or I am frustrated. Well, how does it feel to be frustrated in the body? Well, actually, I don't want to be frustrated either. I want to be at peace. Well, where is that? How do you feel that? How do you experience that I want peace? I don't want this kind of frustration, annoyance. Coming back to a level where you feel comfortable with where you are. So this is just a way of exploring, your experience, exploring what is happening. All the time you're doing this, you're consciously connecting your breath. So all the time, bring yourself back to your breath. If nothing else, keep breathing and keep focusing on connecting the breaths. So you might find that you keep on getting distracted and into your mind, off into thoughts, and you come back to things, I've forgotten all about my breathing. Just come back to it and, restart the process, and then you may drift off again into all sorts of thoughts. And again, just come back to your breathing when you're doing, say, well, what is happening in my body? What's happening for me right now? What do I feel? And have a body scan, see what you feel. See if there's any emotion you feel, because quite often we're escaping in our minds to avoid something that we're actually feeling. And there's nothing wrong in that. That is just what is happening. So just to notice what is happening and breathe with it. Breathe with what is happening right there and then. Constantly using your awareness to sort of encapsulate whatever your experience is. Now, it might be that you get really bored. You're lying there and, nothing is happening. So just allow yourself to be really bored. What does it feel like to be really bored? How do you feel that in your body? And breathe with it. Even if all you do is you lie there and you be bored and you breathe, just see what that is like and get acquainted with it. and see what comes out of it, if anything. Another common experience for people when they're doing a session is what happens is we start the breathing process and that activates us in some way. And experience that is basically unconscious starts coming into our conscious mind. And it may be that we get sleepy when that happens and we go into this kind of dream state, and you'll find that you've completely vanished and you'll get all these kind of random images in your mind, and then suddenly you realise you've completely been absent and you come back to your breathing. So every time you come back to your breath, just start the process again, and what happens is you might then kind of vanish again off into some place in your consciousness. So, my take on what is happening here is whatever's arising, the best place at that time to process it is in some other space in our consciousness. We're not fully here. We have to kind of go somewhere else to deal with it, to process it. That for me is what seems to happen, and I see it repeatedly in people, and it's also something I've experienced myself quite a lot in the past. So we have to kind of exit consciousness for a while to kind of work on things, and then we do it and we come back and we start breathing, and that brings up more things and we drift off. So this is a fairly normal thing to happen. So, as you work through these different experiences, they'll gradually change probably as you go through the session. You may start off cold and get warm, or you may feel out of balance and gradually feel in balance, or more out of balance. Just allow things to kind of evolve in their own time. The key thing about it all is just to be aware of what your experience is, and to just explore what your reactions to things are, and to be honest about where you are. I can accept this, or I can't accept it, or I'm enjoying this, I'm not enjoying it. To really find a place where you can be okay with where you actually are, whatever that is. I am enjoying this, or I'm not enjoying this now, I really don't want to experience it, and that is the truth about where I am, and breathe with whatever your reality is, and just keep going with these different experiences until you feel that you've kind of reached a point of natural completion in the session, or until you just feel you've done enough. You might want to just set a time limit on your session, or you might just keep going until you feel that this session is naturally completed. It's also important to say that there is no getting it wrong in breathwork. There's no way of getting it wrong in this process. So whatever you do is just right. This is the truth of it. So, one session you might react one way to a certain experience, another session you might react a completely different way, and both will be completely valid. So whatever your experience is, you're working through something, and it's entirely appropriate for that time. So don't get too hung up about whether you're doing it rightly or wrongly, or whether you're doing it the right way, but just use it as a way of exploring what's happening, knowing that you're still getting to where you want to go. And your breathwork session will be taking you in the direction that you want to go in your life, and will be helping you resolve the things that you want to resolve. And there's no right or wrong way of doing that. There is only what happens and the truth of that. So I just invite you to explore your experience in a session, and to be curious about what is happening, and to take that curiosity into your life. So when something triggers us in our life, something happens, it's like, oh, I'm angry, to think, okay, well, what does that feel like? And breathe with it, to maintain the kind of curiosity and the openness to your experience in your daily life. And this is where breathwork becomes really a tool for living, and a way just of approaching your life experience to the point where you can more and more accept what is happening, and use it as a way to grow and to move through your experience in a really fulfilling way, a way that helps you grow. So I hope that gives you a flavour of how to use a session and how to work with things. If you've got any questions at all, just email me, johnpaul@breathingjourneys.com, and I'll be really happy to answer any questions you have. And good luck with the breathing. Bye for now.